Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Journey to the Pit. I'm Jim Collins, and today we're going to be starting a new series where we'll pretty much be just going with particular topics, doing a question and answer session with different breeders from all over the world. So today we got Jeff Chapman from Chapman Farms based out of Kentucky. And what we're going to do with him today is he's going to take the time today to walk us through his Kelso program, which is a family of chickens that he have had over 30 plus years. So, Jeff, welcome to the new format and the new show. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jim. Thanks for having me.
So great. So listen, with these short videos that we're going to be doing, short topics, we will pretty much just get into the meat and potatoes of everything. So right now, this line that we're going to be talking about today is a Kelso line, correct?
Correct.
And how long have you had this Kelso line?
Well, I started fooling with the Kelsos. It is about 87, I believe, and I got my first Kelsos about 88,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I've been breeding them ever since.
So since you have had these Kelsos for so long, obviously you have gotten to the Kelsos when the sport was legal back in the day, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. And I'm still trying to breed them as close as I did back then.
Okay. Got you. So you kind of using the same formula, the same breeding program and methods as you were back then.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me this though. So right now, how many Kelso pins do you have set up? Brood
Right
pins.
now, I've got 5 Kelso brood pens set up.
Okay. You got 5 Kelso brood pins. Okay.
Yes, yep.
So what we're basically going to do now with your 5 Kelso brood pins. Now, before we get into just the brood pins, the purpose of us going through your brood pen method is to help people understand how you have been able to maintain a family for 30 plus years with infusing very little outside blood in it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I try not to infuse any outside blood at all, but I mean, it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got one where I shot a little hatch in there here and there and breed it right back out. But most of the
Okay.
time, I go back and forth, father daughter, and
Mm-hmm.
separate them out.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So that's what we need to know. So let's go ahead now, since you said you got 5 brood pens set up. And what I would like to do is let's go ahead and walk through each of your brood pens. And what I would like for you to share with us is what you have in a brood pen. We know it's Kelso,
Right.
and how they are related, and give us a little bit of information of what you've seen in a cock to be able to allow him in the brood pen, and what you've seen in that hen for you to choose her to be in a brood pen. So let's talk about brood pen number 1. What's in
Okay.
brood pen number 1?
Brood pen number one. He's a cock that I've had for I think he's a 6-year-old now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a performer, excellent, and his daughter. I mean, he's in there with his daughters. But
Okay.
him, I like everything about him that I've seen, the way he was on the yard growing up and stuff like that all these years.
Right.
He's never really had a bad day.
Right.
He always had a good attitude. His feathers are nice. He held his tail right all the time. He just wasn't one that was going to be pushed around, growing up. So
Right.
I really liked him. He stood out to me.
Right. So tell me this, Jeff. Since for the individual who have never seen your Kelsos, looking at your Kelsos, give us a little bit of information as far as their station, back sizes,
Well, they're
all those
a higher
details.
station. They're a higher station fowl.
Mhm.
The majority of them come light colored with white through their tail feathers and wing feathers and stuff like that.
Okay.
They're pretty broad. They're round. They're round like little footballs, more or
Hmm.
less.
Hmm.
Um, they got good wing length to them. Good broad back. Good, nice big breast on them.
Okay.
So
So that's pretty much what your Kelso is looking like. So tell me this. So how about the hen that you have in there?
the hens, all majority of them come buff colored.
Okay.
Bluetooth connected.
You see one hen, you pretty much seen them all. Really. You just kind of go look for the hens, their attitudes.
Okay.
They're not someone go up to the feed and with a bunch of other hens and run off real quick with someone pecks them or something.
Hmm.
I like one that's going to stay there and hold her ground. That kind of stands out to me. Then I take a look at their head and stuff like that. Their size of their heads, and a lot of that just comes into play.
Right, right, right. So, okay, so that's what you got in brood pen. So in brood pen number one, you basically say you got a 6-year-old cock and
Correct.
you have him in a pen with his sisters, correct?
I have him in the pen with two of his daughters. They're coming 2 years old.
Okay. So they coming 2 years old. All right. So based out of this pen number one, what are you looking to get out of this pen number one? Are you trying to, you
I'm
know,
trying to go. I'm trying to go back as close to what that cock was when he was younger
mhm,
as I can. I'm trying to hold his characteristics and bring them out in that offspring. Hopefully,
right,
hopefully it works. It doesn't always work.
right, right. So that's what you got coming out of pen number one. So pen number
Right.
one, you got a father in there with two of his daughters, right?
Right. Yeah, I actually bred those as pullets. I bred this exact pin last year, and I really like what I got out of it now. So I'm just keeping them two together.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a repeat breeding.
Correct. Correct.
Got you. So that's in pen number one.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about what you have in pen number two.
All right. Oh, pin number two is a son out of that cock. And he's a 2 year old cock. Um, him, I never done anything with other than raise him and put him in brood pen. He was just one of those that really stood out to me when he was running around 2, 3 months old. He just had a perfect attitude. He was real friendly.
Hmm.
I'd go out and feed, and he'd come to me all the time. But watching him on the yard, he wasn't nothing to play with. So I just kind of kept an eye on him and watched him. When he got old enough, I checked him out a little bit, felt his body. He had the perfect body that I was looking for.
Right.
Nice back, round breast,
Right.
keel bone, nice long straight. He had a perfect little head, great station, good feathers. So I bred him. I bred him
Good.
back to his mother.
Okay. So that's the next question I was going to ask you. What hens you have in there with them?
I got his mother. That's a single mate pen going back to his mother. I'm trying to get his mother's sideline, go back to his grandfather. I'm trying to get back to what he was.
Got you.
Um, trying to collect all those characteristics of those few little roosters, that I've had in the past.
Hmm.
And so far it's been working. In this way, I can separate them like this, the first pin and the second pin. I can separate those two little families. They're still the same family,
Hmm.
but then later on, I can bring them back together and they have the same characteristics.
So that's basically the methods you've been using to carry this line on for the last 30 years without really using any too much of an outside infusion.
Correct, correct, correct.
Got you. So let's talk about what do you have in pin number three?
Pin number three, he's a darker rooster. He come darker. He's the same way. He was a good performer.
Hmm.
Um, I actually showed him a few times, and he was just all out good rooster. Um, he had great attitude, very friendly. I mean, you can put him up on a bench, he'd come back talking to you. I can
Mm,
take him out in the yard, set him down on tie cord, he'll come back talking to me.
mm,
So I bred him, and he added just a little something extra to the fowl, to his offspring,
okay.
and I really loved it. So now I got him back with his daughters that are coming 2 years old.
Okay. So you have a father daughter breeding in this pen.
Correct. Correct.
Got you. Got you. And then also too, at a pen in this pen number three, you got a father daughter going into this pen number three. Uh,
Correct.
any particular what is the goal of this pin number three? Like you just explained, what's the goal of the pin number two? What is the
Right.
goal of the pin number three?
Yeah. Pin number three, because that rooster, he just had that little extra exceptional in the performance,
Hmm.
and his offspring had extra performance. They were just
Mm,
extra special. And I'm trying to go back and to the genetics that he has, his
hmm.
style, his abilities. I'm trying to capture that and hopefully bring out more of that right there.
Right. So this breed is pretty much going to produce three-quarters him. Since
Correct.
you're
Correct.
right, three-quarters him. So that's how
Yeah.
you doing that. That's in pin
Yeah.
number three. Okay.
Right.
So let's talk about what you have in pin number four.
Pin number four. I have one of his sons. It's safe or son of the pin at number 3. He was just an exceptional rooster. Um, he had a great attitude. He was just like his dad. I mean, he come, no matter what you done, he come back talking to you. He wanted to talk to you. He wanted you to touch him.
Right.
So I mean, it's enjoyable to have a rooster like you can actually pick up and do whatever with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got him in because I couldn't go back to the mother. I lost her. I went back and grabbed 2 of his sisters and put in there.
Mm.
So, you know, a lot of people don't like that. But I mean, you think about it out in nature, what do they actually do?
Exactly.
So
I mean, that's exactly right. It happens in nature's all. It happened in nature all the time. I mean,
right.
and to me, I know humans sometimes think we're smarter than nature, but nature's been around before us and it's going to be around after us. But yeah,
correct.
I completely understand that.
I'm hopefully going to trap the traits of his daddy this way, or at least his traits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and either way, you know, it's a win-win.
Right.
So
Because it seems like his father has thrown some really good offspring. Because you already you have his father in a brood pen, and then he actually is also in a brood pen. So that speaks volumes about his father.
Right. Yeah. And all the hens, they carry the same traits that both roosters have. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the sisters of that, they're all real gentle. I mean, I can reach out and catch them in the yard.
Well, I do. So fuck it, fuck too.
They just
got a cuss in his rap.
Hold on, Jeff. We got some playback. We got some music playing.
Well, I do. So fuck it, fuck
it's playing in the video. Yep. Hold on here. You're gonna have to edit that out.
Right.
Is it coming up again?
No, it's out.
Okay. Yeah. Is some bit the music was playing in the video. Eminem. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. So we're talking about pin number
4
at this time. Okay.
Right.
So,
And
all right.
like I was saying, that the hens that is in the brood pen number 3 and 4, they're all sisters. But all the hens I noticed are a lot more gentle. I can catch them on the yard or anywhere. They don't squall. They don't flop around. They're not idiots. I can put them all in the brood pens or the pens together anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll figure out who's boss, but they're actually still easy going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're more laid back. So I kind of like that. You know, I'm getting older. I don't want mean chickens anymore. So, you know, that's why I've got all these the way I do now. These Kelsos, they're not mean.
So Kelsos to you they've been great performers, but their attitude, their demeanor is something that's also important to you, not just the performance aspect of it, because from what you're saying is you still have to handle them. So you don't want something that's very, very difficult to handle, very wild, very crazy, or very mean. So that is one of the key points that you look for to determine what enters your brood pen.
Right. Yeah. You know, I got grandbabies come over. So, you know, I don't want them going around because they love to look at the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them going around, get hit or something like that.
That music is playing again. Can you cut that music out? Because we're going to have to cut this video up.
It's not mine.
It isn't?
No.